Let's call him Joe. Not his real name, but the only name I'm willing to give the man I destroyed. Joe was a wife-beater, violent, arrogant, and fully convinced the world would always bend to his fists and his lies. I was hired by Joe's brother-in-law, the brother of the woman Joe had beaten. He was also Joe's former business partner, and he came to me with two missions: justice for his sister and revenge for his business. Joe walked into court the same way he walked through life, confident, smug, and dripping with the belief that he could lie his way out of anything. His tricks had worked before. He had bullied his ex-wife into a settlement that freed him from child support, so he thought he could bully the justice system too. But this time, he met me. In that courtroom, every lie he told collapsed. Every false document crumbled under pressure. By the time we were done, the judge hit him with a judgment so massive, Joe's face went pale. And that's when I started collecting. I took everything he owned: bank accounts, hidden cash, properties he tried to disguise behind shell companies. Joe tried to scramble, to twist and hide assets, but he had lawyered up too late, much too late. By the time he realized the storm he was in, all he had left was one last property, a small duplex he owned through a numbered company. He lived in the unfinished basement, while the upstairs tenant's rent kept him alive. He thought he had hidden it from me. He was wrong. My investigator found him one afternoon and followed him straight home. From there, it was only a matter of time. I pierced through his fake corporate structure, tore down his pathetic attempts at hiding the property, and eventually seized the house outright. One day, Joe stepped out to buy cigarettes and came home to find the sheriff had changed the locks. His last home, gone. He begged to be allowed back into the basement he used as a bedroom, but the new owner, one of my client's employees, refused. Joe was out on the street. His truck became his shelter, an old, noisy beast of a vehicle. It wasn't worth enough to seize, so I let him keep it. It was the last thing he owned. And then, Joe made a fatal mistake. One evening, in a fit of rage, he drove back to the house he no longer owned and parked his truck sideways across the driveway, blocking the tenants completely. Then he stormed off on foot, planning to sleep in the truck later. The tenants called me, and I made one phone call within hours. A tow truck operator I knew from my criminal defense days had moved Joe's truck to a very specific location, right in front of Joe's own lawyer's office. The next morning, I got the call. My client wants his truck back. I looked out from my office window on the 15th floor and smiled down at the exact truck sitting below. I told the lawyer, "Your client can take the truck and drive away right now, because if I ever see that truck again, I will seize it to satisfy the rest of the judgment." A few minutes later, I watched from above as Joe walked slowly toward his truck. There was no confidence left in him, no swagger, just a defeated man realizing that everything he once owned, every asset, every property, every dollar, had been stripped away by my hand. He climbed into the truck, the engine coughed out a cloud of smoke, and he drove out of my life forever. I've ruined men before, and I'll ruin men again. But Joe is the only one whose final downfall I witnessed from above, like watching karma finally arrive in the exact form it deserved.